Hello, trading has closed on the 13th of August 2025. As always, we begin with our disclaimer. We go over our predictions and then make our calls. This is my trading plan for tomorrow, which is August 14th, 2025. Please remember, I can change my plan and my plan can be wrong, so trade at your own risk. Also, I have not been able to follow the market as closely as I would like to, but I did have time to look at it today, and I think today could be a significant change in trend day. We look today for the pattern with the early high, which is this, and tomorrow should also have the early high. This is a pattern which usually rallies into the close at the high of day or has a straight line drop. Well, there's a rally into the close, but it's not to the high of day. Time doesn't run out until tomorrow, so if tomorrow's open gaps and promptly takes out this high, we should have the normal pattern. If it failed, it should be a straight line drop. I don't know if you can call this a straight line drop or not. Usually when there's a straight line drop, you're going to close near the low. Now again, time doesn't run out until tomorrow's open. So if we open down here, that's the straight line drop. So I think one way or the other, we're either going to gap move smartly higher over this high, or gap move lower under this low. Now we didn't print the 64.35.37 price target. We said it should print unless we gapped up smartly. We did gap up smartly, so it didn't have to print today, but it should print at some time. And I don't like the fact that if you're a bull that we're leaving some targets behind. We have a new target from today, 64.45.67. It's an optional target, and if it doesn't print tomorrow, we'll just forget it. But when I checked the year I checked one past year with a computer program, and this would print 95% of the time. It's not 100, and of course if we gap up, we're not going to cross our fingers and hope it works, but 95% chance we're going to be trading lower tomorrow. I also think that this gap here, with a spike low and a gap up, these things do tend to fill at some time. So this looks like an impressive rally. We hit a new all-time high, but it's leaving some targets behind. In the afternoon, we got an ultimate buy signal and a buy signal. We got the minimum target immediately. You almost always get more than that, which we did. But there's an optional lower target we talked about, and that usually prints. We still have not invalidated DeMark's 913.9 sequential and combo sell, which occur in alignment. When these things fail, they tend to fail in grand style. We're already over the upper Bollinger Band where we don't stay very long. If this did fail in grand style, we'd be printing huge bars way over the band. I mean, nothing's impossible. That just doesn't happen very often. Well, here's the chart we've shown a number of times. We had this trend line resistance. We went past it a little bit. I don't know if it's enough to make a difference. Yesterday we showed a target around 64.72 in the quarter. We traded about 8 handles higher. 8 handles higher when you're in the 6400s isn't very much, but let's draw the lines differently and you'll see how close we came. This is a trend line starting from here. Here's a direct hit. Here's a direct hit. If you ignore the spike, that's a direct hit. And we have a direct hit today. You know the rule. When you hit a trend line in a straight line move, either you gap over it or the trend line wins. But that's not all. Yesterday we didn't have a wave count that worked. Now we do. If this is A and B, we're looking for C of magenta B. And if that's gray A at 61.8%, and that's B, That hits it right on the nose at 100%. So we now have a wave count that works. But let's look at the smaller time frames. Here's a smaller time frame. If that's A and that's B, these counts work, and they work really right on the dot. And now let's look at the move we've had in August. If that's A and that's B, this point here is a direct hit. So either this is a giant coincidence, or we have wave balance right at the top, and it comes right at the date from Carol Ann's work, a date that was established years ago. So let's review what we have. Thursday's pattern has the early high regardless of where we open. The PPI report, Producer Price Index report, comes out before the open tomorrow. I can't predict the response to major economic reports with a sufficient degree of accuracy. Today's market did not rally into the close, nor did it have a straight line drop. That should be rectified tomorrow by gapping sharply and most likely promptly trading outside of today's range. There's an optional MEJT target, which has a 95% chance of printing tomorrow. We've added a failed target to the list, and it's highly favored to print at some time. Unlike yesterday, we now have a clear wave count compatible with the top. We have trend line resistance, and if we don't gap over it, any move past it should retrace, and we topped right at the date from Christopher Carol Ann. As you know, I've been very reluctant to call it top in this bull market. I was always afraid I was too early. But I think today's high very likely was a top. It isn't the top, but I think today was the top, provided, and that's in capital letters, provided we move down smartly from the open tomorrow. Gapping over today's high by a significant amount would kill the idea, and if we don't move down right from the open, I might not stick with this call. I don't mind trying to call bottoms. I don't mind trying to call tops. I did call this year's bottom right to the day. I called the 2023 bottom right to the day. I don't think my stuff is as good as calling tops. I have called a few. I'm going to try to call one here, but again, if we don't gap down right from the open, all bets are off, and I'm canceling the call. This is about as perfect a situation as you can get in terms of time and price, provided we start down right from the open, ideally undercutting this low here. And if that happens, I think that's a top. And if I'm wrong, at least the stop's at a reasonable place. I've been wrong before. It's the pattern with the early high, and that's today's call.